Welcome to Stars Podcast. Through self-defense, mixed martial arts, nutrition, family, and all things in between, we share our journey of how we hack our mind and body to get the maximum return out of each day. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the journey.
All right, we're ready. We're going.
5
seconds.
4, 3, 2.
That's the countdown. We're in.
All right, we're strong.
Yeah, we're 3 strong today.
Look at this. This is something brand new. Our first guest. I feel like we're like official. You should be honored.
I am. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I almost walked over.
Yeah, so
Outside
Tad is our neighbor, my neighbor, not Aaron's neighbor. What was going on last night over at the brewery?
Won't you be my neighbor?
That was
Was it Brewers Fest?
Brewfest. Yeah. So it was, I don't know what time it stopped, so it was all day. It was like till 5 or 6 or something like that.
Were they set off fireworks last night?
No, that was the
Who
other
was
neighbors. That was the Kovacs. The grandfather turned 70.
Okay.
So they had a little party in the backyard.
That's definitely worth some fireworks, though. 70? That's a strong
My
number.
dog was shaking for 2 hours. Convulsing.
Yeah, it was loud. They were really loud.
Yeah, I didn't realize, like, he's usually okay with things. Like, loud sounds, trucks coming down the road. Like, none of that has really messed with him before. But last night, he was shaking.
Yeah.
Because I tried to go to bed early last night. I was in bed, and I got woke up by them, and then came downstairs, and my dog is shaking. So I take him outside, which last night was beautiful outside. There was not a cloud in the sky. It was crystal clear.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So we sat on the back porch, and he is shaking the deck. That's how much he's shaking.
Because he was scared.
He was scared.
All due respect to your dog. The man made 70.
I mean, I get it. I'm a fireworks at 40.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if I would have remembered you were running a marathon today, I would have told him to postpone it until tonight.
Yeah.
But I
That would be
forgot.
nice.
I'm sorry.
Wow, that's pretty respectful. This is
Yeah.
This is what they do in Western PA.
Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah. Western PA. Hey, I guess it was a thought.
Yeah.
It's a thought that counts.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just make some more noise.
Okay.
So Ron, who we got here?
We have Tad Compagna here, who has taught my daughter how to skateboard, first off, which has been really cool. That's all she wants to do now. And now I realize that Camp Woodward is in Pennsylvania, which is going to be a problem for us.
Yeah. I think it's, not a cheap place to send your child either.
Well, that's what I told her. I said, it's going to be birthday, Christmas, and your vacation.
Until you're
Not-
16.
yeah, like you're not coming on vacation with us.
Camp Woodward.
It's a skate park, cheerleading, like extreme sports. It's a 2-week camp.
Yeah. It's the largest in the world, like in Pennsylvania. I think they're trying to make a West Coast one right now, somewhere like Park City or someplace
It
like
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah. Everyone from around the world, that's where they come to train. Like, so for the Olympics, that's where some of those skateboarders will train.
Wait a minute. Skateboarding's in the Olympics?
This year.
X Games.
Yeah.
X Games.
No, Olympics. This next Olympics, skateboarding.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And
You
BMX
can't-
riding. Both.
You can't get softball. Like I was crushed when they couldn't get women's softball on there. I think they need something. But skateboarding, not to go against the skateboarders. I'm just saying. Yeah. Extreme sports, got it.
It's an interesting sport to have in the Olympics.
I think maybe trying to draw people back to the Olympics. Like if there was loss of interest, this is the way to get the young crowd
so the
back
younger,
into it.
yeah.
It does make sense.
Yeah. But there was like 2 or 3 sports they added, but it was surfing. Surfing was the other.
Yeah.
Let's grab these kids that aren't watching the Olympics and get them to start watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the viewership.
So there's really cool, like I can go on a bunch of different tangents right now, but I want him to say, like, give a little spiel. Nobody knows who he is, so
Yes, no doubt.
let's see what we got.
Go ahead.
Well, what do you want to know? I mean,
Well, the reason why I
Do you like long walks on the beach?
I do, actually. I was going to say that. I was waiting for one of you guys to ask it first. I didn't know how
he
this
didn't
was
want
going
to
to go.
put his Tinder profile on there automatically.
Are you single?
No, I'm not. I'm married, 2 kids.
Sorry, ladies and some men. He's an attractive dude.
My wife would actually say otherwise right now. She told me I had to shave this morning. I told her no.
Dude, go strong. Just go strong.
Thinking about it as long as I can.
I'm just jelly. I can't even get that.
Yeah.
I said jelly.
He did say jelly. Like a high school teenager. Well, the reason I wanted to have him on is what he did over the summer. He biked across the United States for a veterans charity.
Yeah.
And that's something I wanted you to kind of talk about if you want to.
Sure.
And then also your local 5 longboards.
Sure. Yeah, the bike ride was a cross-country trip, a relay trip. So I didn't have to ride all the miles, but it was for the Veterans Leadership Program of Western Pennsylvania.
VLP.
Yep.
I've worked with them before.
Yeah, fantastic. And throughout the year, I think 3 or 4 years ago, they started the ride from Pittsburgh to D.C., and they would end up D.C. on the 4th of July. And I did that one last year. But this year they wanted to go bigger, better. So they asked 10 people to ride the whole way across the country and then meet up in Pittsburgh with all the rest of the riders and end up in D.C. So I got the opportunity to jump on that.
So how long was your leg?
I ended up with about 1,700 miles of the 3,000.
Oh my gosh.
In how many days?
So total, I was gone from my family and house for 25 days.
Yeah,
so I think I
let's
rode.
back up to that,
yeah, I rode 21 days. It was 21 days of riding. Is about what it was.
Now this is a pedal bike, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like riding around a scooter or one of those ones that you start pedaling and then it kicks in.
Yes.
What is that, moped?
See, that would have worked out a whole lot better for you. But
Way
for a
better
great
than
cause. Like now, he did this on a BMX bike.
How do you get introduced to that though? Like even doing the trip from Pittsburgh to DC, like how do you connect with the veterans group?
For me, it was a local guy in Slippery Rock, Tom McPherson.
Okay.
He had worked with them, and he's a Vietnam vet, and so he has done it a couple years. He just turned 70, I think, this year. And last year he said,
"Congratulations!"
Yeah, awesome. He's an awesome individual for the town too. So that when he does stuff, it makes you want to do it. So I was like, oh, I got to get on board if Tom's doing it.
Yeah.
So I did it last year, got involved, absolutely loved it, and did it again. But he knew I have ridden bikes, and I've ridden really far distances, and he's like, oh, this would be right up your alley. It'll be easy for you.
Right.
So easy is whatever you make it, I guess. But it was just an absolute blast. It was fun.
1,700 miles.
When you're having so much fun, like the guys you're riding with and the things that you're seeing day
Yeah, so
after
how
day.
many guys are on your crew?
So from San Diego, there were 13 total people. There were 10, actually I lied, 12 total people, because there's 10 riders and 2 folks that just volunteered to drive vehicles for us. We had 3 vehicles, so one of us always had to drive too. So 12 total. We just took turns riding. There was always at least 2 or 3 guys on the road at all times. And it's supposed to be a relay. You ride 20 miles, you get off.
Yeah, but you guys
gets
were not
on.
doing that. You guys were riding hundreds of miles a day altogether.
Yeah, so the first week and a half was
as much as I could there.
First week and a half was rough. We didn't have like a schedule. It was kind of like see how many people can stay on the road for as long as we can. The problem was as soon as everybody got tired, there was nobody else to get on the road. So some people had to buckle up and keep going.
Yeah.
The last week and a half, though, we split up. We had 5-man teams, and you'd go, and then the next team would get on. So it worked out pretty well. But either way, it was you were going to ride miles. That was the whole goal of the idea.
Yeah.
You signed up to ride the bike as far as you possibly could.
Right.
So if you sat out, it was,
So whenever you talk about sitting out, how many bike mishaps did that hold you guys up?
Yeah.
Because those things are just made to break.
Yeah.
They're great bikes. They're expensive, I'm sure, but tires and chains.
The tire thing was bad. I don't think we broke a single chain. I don't think anyone broke a chain. We had a lot of issues, though, other bike issues. Tires, probably the first 2 days we were on interstates. So California, Arizona, New Mexico, you could ride an interstate, like, Interstate 80. I think it was 10 through there. but you're going through shrapnel from all those tractor trailer tires and just popping tires. I would have, not without exaggerating, 40 flat tires in one day as a team. We probably had 40 in a day.
That is a
Now,
lot.
do you have all those in the van?
So it was just tubes. Most everybody would just patch a tube or throw a new tube on and try to keep going. So those first days, logistically, we were really slow. If you blew a tire, the idea was jump in a van, fix it, get way ahead of us, and then jump back on.
Yeah.
But we'd all sit around and wait for somebody to fix the tire. So we're like sitting out in the middle of the desert, just sweating like crazy under the sun, waiting for a tire to get fixed. But the other bike issues were, flat tires was the big one, and then a couple people, bent up a rim or had to go get something fixed, broke a spoke. I think we had a couple spokes break, but nothing major. No one really.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Not many miles, and really you're only just popping tires.
Yeah, I got really lucky myself. I think I had the least. I had 2 flat tires the entire trip. That was it.
Okay.
And the good part is, as soon as we pulled into Pittsburgh, my shifter cable broke on Green Tree Hill, which was perfect because I was already at the top of the hill. I didn't have to worry about shifting. I just coasted the whole way down. And then I had a day. I had about 18 hours before we had to start riding again, where I got to a bike shop and got it fixed.
Okay.
I mean, we were in Pittsburgh, so there's places
Tons
to
of them.
get.
Yeah.
No,
Pittsburgh's a big biking city anymore.
Yeah, it's getting even bigger too.
Yeah,
which is nice.
I see a lot of bike lanes now, and kind of Pittsburgh is it's a thing.
Oh yeah, they got tours set up too. Like you can tour all the local microbrews. They have a map. So you ride your bike from brewery
Trunk
to brewery.
biking.
There you go.
Yeah.
We were down the Strip yesterday. Not to switch gears too fast, but we were down the Strip.
Switching gears.
Yeah. And they had one of those party bikes. Where you're all pedaling.
There's a bar. There's like a
And there's a
bartender in
bar.
the middle.
Yeah, and there's music playing. B thought that was like out of this world. She thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
So like, because I'm kind of like a student of mindset. How did you get to a point where you were just like, you know what, I can't go no more? But did you push through that, or you just like?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, that's something I strive for. Like, it's the reason why I do these really long or stuff that people say it's crazy. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So that jump on it, and I don't think I've ever met that point where I had to say I'm done. Like, I have to get off this. I'm done. Quite a few times I was dead tired, but you knew, like, as a team and growing up playing team sports, if you get off, it means somebody else has to get on.
Yeah.
And if nobody else is willing to get on, someone's got to.
So that's inside of you. You just like, you know what? That's it. I'm in this to win it. I'm gone.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Whoever has to ride. If we have to get up at 4 to go, we're getting up at 4, and I'll be one of those guys getting up at 4, and I'm okay with it. Or the only day that I actually quit was not even a mileage day. We rode up Pikes Peak. We had a day where we were in Colorado, and I'm like, what are we going to do? And the challenge was get to the top of that mountain. I told my wife that morning we were doing it, and she said, that's crazy, that's stupid.
Yeah.
She has hiked up it once, and we've driven up it in a car.
Yeah.
And she goes, I didn't want to hike up it or drive up it, and you're going to try to ride your bike up it. So
that just shows a lot about you, man.
Yeah.
Like,
we took off. It was awesome. There was 10 of us that took off from Garden of the Gods. It was like 96 degrees. And we started coming up out of the valley, and you get to the mountain. One guy dropped out like 2 miles in. He's like, no one's ever going to make it to the top, but you guys have fun. And we were just like, yeah, man, like, thanks for the motivation.
Right.
But
I'll show you.
Yeah, 10 or 11,000 feet on the mountain, there's like a parking spot, and they only let certain people end up driving up, and make sure everything's safe. But we got there, and by the time we got there, of the 10 people riding, there was only 4 of us left.
And you were one of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so the two of the guys.
These are like professional riders, and these guys are.
We were just. It was 5.5 hours to go 30 miles. I mean, it was
that's just
grueling.
Right up.
Yes.
What is the elevation change?
The elevation was like 8,800 feet from Garden of the Gods to the top of the mountain, something like that, over 32 miles.
So air gets pretty thin up there.
Yeah, the top of the mountain was 14,110, I think, is what the sign says. And I ended up getting to 13 something,
And you stopped.
Well, I
Oh, you were
didn't have
so
clothes.
close.
I didn't have clothes, and the
Because it had to
temperature
be
dropped to
cold.
36 degrees. It was like 36 with 20 mile per hour winds.
Could you
And,
imagine? You go from 95 degrees to 36.
yeah, and so
Like, how do you pack for that?
Yeah, how do you dress for that?
the two guys that made it carried backpacks, and they had their clothes with them. So as they were getting cold, they put stuff on. And I was like, I don't want to ride with a backpack. One, it's 96 down here, and if I have a backpack, I already sweat enough. I don't want that. So I put stuff in a car, and they were supposed to be on the road with us. Like, they go 100 yards up or quarter mile up, and we change. My car was nowhere to be found. I didn't know where it was. The truck that was behind me was not my stuff.
Oh, okay.
So the other guy I was with, he jumped in the truck because he didn't have his clothes either, and he was just like, I don't care.
Got it.
He's a 60-some-year-old guy too, and like he was just a monster, just going. So he just quit. He's like, I'm done. I made it far enough, and I was like, I'm not done. But I get to the point where I just my hands
Give me your
were,
clothes.
Like, cramped shut. It was so cold on my knuckles that I couldn't like do anything else but hold on to the gear shift with my hands.
Oh.
And then your legs start to get cold, and I would just get off and stretch and then get back on and ride. The park ranger came by and said, you're not allowed to get off your bike. If you keep getting off your bike, you got to get in a vehicle.
Get out. He actually came by and said...
And then they told our support vehicles, if these guys keep getting off their bikes, you got to get them on. They didn't want us off the bike. And I was like, man...
I didn't even realize that would be a problem.
Neither did we. I'm thinking, man, it'd be safer for me to be standing there than trying to pedal with frozen legs with the cliff to my right. I'd be safer off if I know my limits there. But so we get to this one spot, and the ranger said, hey, you got to get off. So it was like Devil's Playground or something like that. And as soon as I turned the corner, my van is standing right, like the people were standing right there. I was like, oh, my jacket, everything is right here. And at that point, I was like, I was crushed. It's like I was done. Yeah, and so I don't know that I would have gotten back on the bike. I was that cold at that moment. I think if I could have warmed up and had the time, I might have tried it. But the other guys were so far ahead of me. I've been by myself.
Yeah.
Something to do, something to go back for. If I would have done
For
it this
sure.
time, I would have had no reason to go back. Right?
Exactly. So after you do that day, and you go from now, was that part of the course, or that was just like a fun thing to do?
Yeah, that was something we tried that day.
Yeah, because that's what sane people do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Guys who are listen, that is right up the guy's alley who's biking across America. Like they're just sitting there BSing, let's go 800 feet. Yeah,
it's a rest day on our rest day.
I'm extremely fascinated, and thank you for doing it. Thank you for I'm a veteran, 6 years in the Army, so that's commendable. That you would even do that.
It was good. As an organization, I think the final tally was like $110,000 raised.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it was pretty nice.
It is nice, man.
Yeah. One of the guys I work with, his name is Nicholas Fate. He's with that.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get to meet too many. Mm-hmm. Dan Blevins was the guy that was in charge of the bike ride. Okay. He might have been the only employee that I got to meet up with. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but just imagine, like, we do silly stuff like go and compete and hit people, get punched in the face, and he's biking across America. This is that's
and it was really neat too because he was doing a blog as well, so you could follow along with him every day.
You didn't print me this to any information to me. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you.
Well, I didn't know it was my job to do
this.
That.
Is true. It's not.
No. But we got to talk to him one day, and he had told me about it, and I'm like, dude, I'm totally down to support. It was actually out at in Lancaster.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about.
Yeah, that was right before we left. That was pretty much. I had a week to go. Before. That was my rest week. I didn't ride a bike for a week.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a bike.
Yeah, so we were talking about it then, and I said I'm totally on board. I think it was like the next week. We donated. We got on the newsletter, and it was.
That's cool pretty cool.
Because he would put up pictures and all types of things.
Yeah, it was
some random stuff.
The Coke, you commented on the Coke machine.
Yeah.
That was middle of Kentucky, in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. The day was like, it was 90-some degrees, 100% humidity. It was awful. We come around this corner, and there's this, it had to have been an old gas station, I'm guessing, but it was like a single pump just out in front of somebody's house. completely run down, but there was this squat little Coke machine, had been like 3 foot high, and a big sign that says that yes, the Coke machine still works. And you get up to it, and then you read the fine print. It only takes nickels and dimes. Quarters don't work anymore. Like this whole task of getting a Coke out of this machine. And so as I'm doing it, I go through the support vehicles and take everybody's change, and I needed a Coke. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just putting all my quarter. I get my Coke, and there's a chair. So I sat down on the chair, and I'm looking around. There's like security cameras guarding this tiny little Coke machine in the middle of Kentucky. I'm thinking there's something more going on here than just a Coke machine.
Yeah. You press a couple different buttons, you might get something different than a Coke.
That's gotta be like an MIB headquarters. That's exactly what it is.
Don't get the Fanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
There goes Tad.
There's one button that said sold out. How the hell is it sold out in the middle of Kentucky? But maybe if I would have pressed that one, something else would have happened.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would have just...
Next year, you got to test it.
Yeah, I don't even know where that was. I'm pretty sure it's not on a map anywhere, that little intersection. We just found it. So.
Right.
It's definitely a UFO plant.
In Kentucky.
Yeah. So was there power to this? Like, that's crazy.
That's what we were looking around. Like these security cameras, there's 3 of them. And
there's
wires running to them. And then the Coke machine was sitting there. There was a fan in the window behind me blowing into the building. So, talking like Darth Vader into the fan, and no one's responding back to me. So I sat and drank my Coke right on their front porch.
That was perfect.
Got back on a bike.
You go to check the plug. It's not plugged.
Yeah. Not even plugged in.
It was good and cold. I know that much.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was nice.
Nothing better than that on a hot day. So what was the weather like? I mean, whenever you're going across the country, was it pretty decent, similar weather the whole way across? Hot as it is in the summer.
It changed. California, Arizona, New Mexico, all just about the exact same. Really high heat, very low humidity. High heats up into the 120s we were riding through.
Wow.
It was ridiculous.
There is a difference.
Just scalding hot
like
water
no
squirting in your mouth.
Like no humidity
exactly.
is totally different than,
It is. Yeah, the bad part was on the bike, you never sweat. Like, you didn't know you were sweating. Like, that little breeze that you were creating was good enough. And as soon as you stopped pedaling, even in the 120, you're just like, oh my God, it just hits you like a wall. And it's just hot. And then Colorado was pretty nice. Kansas, Kentucky, Ohio, they were all 90s or 100s. We hit that heat wave and we followed it
so
across
no
the
rain,
country. No rain. One day that it
wow.
rained and we didn't get to ride, we actually got off the road because we were riding through tornadoes. There was tornadoes spotted in eastern Colorado, so they called and said, get off the road. So we didn't have to.
So who was they?
That was Dan's
Coke machine. Coke machine guys.
Yeah, it was the Coke machine.
I don't know. You got park rangers yelling at you.
That
seems like you got a tail.
We had this wake of crime the whole way across the country. That would have been, I believe, the VLP folks basically calling up and saying, hey,
keeping you guys safe.
Stay out of danger, because we weren't allowed to ride at night. If there was headlights that had to be put on, they told us no. So
got it. So there are some rules.
Yeah, there's definitely some rules. They kept us safe best that they could.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good too.
The problem was, I don't know if you heard this story, I just did all that riding. And I come home and I get antsy, you just do something for so long, you just want to jump back on and do it again. So super pumped to go ride. And the first 2 times I tried to ride when I got home were absolute disasters. So just get on my bike. I'm thinking, I'm just going to go for a little ride. I have this 20-mile loop around Slip Rocks. I was going to go. 5 miles into it, I'm throwing up off the side of my bike.
Get out.
Yeah. I have no clue why. And I'm just like seeing spots in my eyes. I was like, what is going on? About a mile up, I pull over and pollinating the flowers with the contents of my stomach, basically.
Yes.
Called my wife and I said, you better come pick me up. I'm not going to make it home. So she came and picked me up. And she was laughing at the whole thing. I was like, this is not funny. About 2 days later, I get back on the bike, riding down my driveway. So it's got a little slope to it. And they just tarred and chipped the road. And so I hit and I wrecked 10 feet. First ride home, 6 miles. Second ride home, 10 feet. Bounce off the road. I'm like,
you're road rash.
From head to toe. Like, my helmet had tar on it because I whacked my hip.
You went down real hard.
Yeah. Hip to knee is just like a solid bruise, blood coming out my elbow. Laura wouldn't even look at me. She would laugh at me, but she wouldn't look at me. Every neighbor stopped. They're like, hey, you okay? You okay? I was like, yeah, I'm okay.
No, I'm bleeding.
My pride is really hurt. Like,
for sure.
But, so I did get back on the bike. I'm fine now. It was those first two.
So do you think maybe it just wasn't enough recovery time?
No.
That's why you were throwing up, or?
I have no clue. The throwing up part, I have absolutely no clue.
Weird.
The bike gods, I'm like, that's enough.
Yeah. So they might have been.
Exactly. Just relax.
Yeah.
We let you get the whole way across the country with 2 flat tires. Can you just give us a break?
Yeah,
Could have also been that bowl of cereal with the spoiled milk I had that morning.
There it is.
I'm kidding.
Oh, the spoiled milk.
I hate milk.
I was at a hotel just this past week. Poured milk in my coffee.
Chunky.
Chunk.
You
You want to talk about totally didn't want to eat breakfast.
Yeah. Ugh.
She's like, oh, we have milk now. We brought out a jug of milk. I'm like, nope.
I'm good.
I am totally fine now. I'm going to drink that coffee black today.
Great hotel. Yeah. I've had some random hotels like that. But it's like, how do you know it's not a roach?
It was it's a Marriott.
That's a roach. Yeah.
It's a nice hotel. It's a Marriott hotel. I stay at this place all the time. But anyhow.
Yeah. We got some good hotels too. Gosh. We had a hotel with a bullet hole in the door.
Oh.
So I was in room, say, 101, and room 103 right next door had a bullet hole coming through the door, and it went through their wall into my room, and you could see the hole behind the beds on our side of the...
Not while you were there.
No, not while we were there. We pull into these hotels, we're like, dude,
pretty scathing.
Yeah, like, who booked this one?
Yeah.
And every time we'd walk in, it was something else. Like, there was a couple that we... one we went to stay
by the
at.
hour.
Yeah, pretty much. It might have been cheapest rate.
Not by the hour. Not by the hour. You can't even stay at those ones.
Sitting in a parking lot and
Not safe.
cop cars are pulling into this hotel that we're supposed to stay at, and everyone's looking at each other. You know, everybody, when you pull in, they see us on bikes. Hey, how much are those bikes worth? Like, that's, as soon as someone asks that, that's like the indicator that we shouldn't be staying here right away.
Exactly.
Like, if they're asking me how much it's worth, it means they really want to take it and pawn it off somewhere else. But we got a bunch of those. And the police car one, we ended up going and staying somewhere else. Like, yeah, it was...
Did you figure out what was going on?
Well, the guy at the front desk said, this happens all the time. It's really nothing. We're like, well, if it happens all the time, I'm pretty sure it's something. Then.
Yeah, we're going to leave then.
Yeah, those people...
Appreciate you. Thanks.
Yeah. They asked me how much my bike was, and there's cop cars pulling up.
And I think I have help.
Yeah. I didn't even step foot in the room. I'm pretty sure I got it. Yeah.
I wouldn't even shower at that.
Oh, God. It was...
Complimentary mints? No.
Yeah, so then, well, that's another good point, too. So you're able to sleep every night in a hotel, in a bed, and all of that. So that's helpful.
Yeah, this one was good.
Were you able to sleep fine?
No. I didn't sleep.
Yeah, it's tough whenever you're doing that type of stuff.
Yeah, we shared rooms, which was good because the point of it was to raise money and
you don't want to
complete the task, and so we shared rooms and it was really fine. I just don't sleep in general, and that really didn't help being in rooms where everybody's snoring.
Yeah.
I can't get to sleep, and then once you're asleep and you wake up, it's over at that point. So I even tried the earplugs, and that just didn't work. And melatonin and all kinds of sleep aids.
But then also being so high up, like the adrenaline that you're going through, continue, like, how do you relax that?
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what it was.
You just couldn't dump. You couldn't
eat real quick, and then just kind of be wired for the rest of the night, and then next morning.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the question everybody would like to know, like, how did you go to the bathroom?
Just pull over.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not a very cool story.
Were there any nutrition geeks on the ride? Like guys trying to really get, because we had talked about this before, where you can't even get enough in.
Right.
It's just hard to get enough food in without upsetting your stomach.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. But was there anybody on the trip that was like, okay, we need to be X, Y, Z?
No, there's pretty much the exact opposite of that. Yeah. Like, there were people that tried not to eat all day long.
What?
Yeah, like, it was too much to stop and eat, like, too much time off the bike to stop and eat. And no, it was, no one really did that. After the first week, once we got into that rhythm too, we made sure that we ate breakfast, lunch, dinner for sure. Mm-hmm. And in between time, we had so much stuff in the cars, and, a couple people had backpacks, I guess, but most of us had pockets in our jerseys.
Yeah.
So you just fill them with anything you could. Anything that wouldn't melt in the heat, you put in your back pocket. So like those power gummy things, anything you could. Those. Yeah, I don't like them either anymore. I'm done with those things.
Yeah. Right.
So anything you could. And then when you sat down and ate, you're right. Everything that was on the menu, you tried to order. As much as you possibly could. And there was never a leftover scrap on the table. Because if you didn't eat that piece, somebody else's fork was coming over and taking it.
Are you done, Tad? Okay. I'm going to eat that piece of sausage.
I'm done.
So how many calories did you burn daily?
I don't know. I never tracked it. I'm sure my watch would have, but I just never did any of that stuff. And it had to have been 7 to 10, I'm guessing. Maybe easy. Some days more, some days probably a little bit less, depending, again, weather, what kind of terrain we were on, speeds.
And we're saying 7 to 10,000.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, 7 to 10,000.
Yeah. That is
ridiculous. So did you lose weight on the trip?
I did not. I stayed exactly the same. I lost weight prior to the trip on purpose. And then once we hit the trip, goal is not to lose weight. Really? So you didn't want to try and bulk up? No, I wanted to lose weight. On that bike, I don't want to be carrying the extra 10, 15 pounds around. So for about 6 months, not a strict diet, but I watched what I ate and cut back on that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Really had to cut back on the beer. It was a super big inconvenience for me, but I did it anyways.
Sure.
But no, and then on the trip, I did not lose a pound. Probably gained a bunch of muscle. Yeah. And so in the end,
it just equaled out.
Yeah. But I don't think too many people did lose weight. I'm pretty sure that we ate enough.
You ate enough. Okay. So that's awesome. I think it would be so hard to do that.
I got this Dumb and Dumber picture in my mind. When
I had that whenever he's going up the mountain when it's really cold. I got up front.
Just go, man.
I'll give you my extra gloves. That one.
See the snot? Is that where the snot is coming back?
Over. I got it back and just go. Just go.
You had an extra pair of gloves on the whole time? I'm going to kill you.
So you get back and was this well publicized? Did people know the feat that you just did?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, between the 10 people that were going, we had raised quite a bit of money and talked to quite a few people. Good. And the organization, the VLP, had put it out there quite a few different places as well. So I think it was pretty well publicized. We also, one of the goals was across the country to raise as we were going. Mm-hmm. And we realized it was for Western Pennsylvania, very specific place, but it's still, the cause touches everybody everywhere. So I think across the country, we probably ended up, as a team, random donations across the country, people just handing you a $10 bill or a $20 bill. I think we probably had close to $1,000 that we just raised in cash donations from people that had no clue. We had a couple meals paid for us. We would all sit down. Oh, yeah. And anonymously, someone would pay the whole tab.
Any interesting people you met along the way?
I didn't get to talk to too many people. Oh. There was one lady. I don't know that she was interesting, but she tried to kill me twice.
Oh, that's good.
She ended up feeling really bad for us. This was West Virginia. We just got into West Virginia.
Say no more.
Yeah. And two of us go into this grocery store just to get some food. We're just you would get a tub of pasta salad, as a snack, and you just eat the whole thing. Yeah. So we have our pasta salad. We're walking out, and I'm still saying it was mostly my fault because I had my face buried in pasta salad, and this lady comes up in an orange Mustang. She's pulling through the drive-thru to get her groceries because they have them bagged ready to go, and I pretty much step off the curb. You can hear her slam on the brakes. Oh. She's so apologetic, and I was I think it was my fault. I'm sorry. And she goes, no, I should have been paying attention to what was going on around me. So we walked across the parking lot to Burger King where everybody else was eating. I'm walking into Burger King, and all of a sudden this orange Mustang comes whipping around the drive-thru, right onto us. And I'm thinking, this lady,
she almost hit you twice.
Yeah, she's trying to kill me. So she's
trying to kill me. Woman in the Mustang, we know who you are.
Yeah, we go into Burger King, and I'm sitting there finishing my potato salad, and Brian Leak, he was awesome. He was one of the guys we rode with. He's this huge 6'5" guy, 230 pounds, wants to be a pro wrestler, an awesome individual. He was the only Marine on the trip, and he comes in with this little old lady. He's 6'5", this huge dude, and he's got his arm around this lady who's only waist high to him. And he goes, there he is. If you want to hit him again, go ahead. And like he's talking to her. They're like joking around. And she comes over and gives me a big hug and apologizes. And like 5 minutes later, she's over there. She writes $100 check and hands it over to the cause. They were telling her what was going on and stuff. And that was my only encounter with the public generally, because I didn't talk to too many people. We talked to each other.
Well, I probably would have been scared to talk to anybody. You got random people trying to kill you.
Yeah, and asking me how much my bike's worth.
Yes. Bullet holes.
Sketch.
UFO sightings.
At least you did. But at least you had a bunch of guys.
Oh yeah, no,
we're not even just guys, but just a big team.
Yeah.
Of people.
Yeah,
that helps too.
We had fun. I mean, by the end of it, the 10 of us, you were on each other's last nerve, but it was awesome. You got to meet some great people.
You probably stay in contact with that crew too.
Yeah, quite a few of them. I mean, there's always when you're in a group like that where you're going to let some of them fade away.
Yeah. Just through time.
Now, do you do other events with those guys, or?
I have not. Last year was the first year I did the Pittsburgh to DC, and then 2 of them I had met prior on that ride, and then this year did the long ride with those guys. The other 8 guys I didn't know at all, so I met them. But we haven't since then. We're supposed to go on a reunion ride. I think it's next weekend or 2 weekends from now. But we'll see if that ever comes to.
See if it goes.
Yeah. So like, what's next? I know we want to get into your other ventures and stuff. You just went across the country doing a great service for the veterans out there, and then now what? Like you're hitting the top, bro. Like what are you doing now? Besides helping B freaking learn how to do skate. How old are you?
41.
41 teaching kids. It's like Tony Hawk.
Too.
Yeah. I did read up on that.
That's the next adventure, actually. Is
Tony Hawk?
No, on the 19th of August, I go back to work.
Yeah.
Back to teaching. So
that's the next adventure.
High school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the next physical adventure, I don't really know. I don't know. My
just
wife
whatever comes your way, huh?
Wife is awesome. Like every so many years, she's just pretty cool with me leaving for 3-4 weeks at a time to go challenge myself with something. So this is probably the 4th or 5th one that she's allowed me to go on. By far the longest one for the stretch of time. But
well, that's. I mean, I know we've talked about it before. To have a good relationship with your significant other, your spouse, or whatever, it's really good to have that person in the corner. She probably knows enough about you that if she didn't, like, let's say endorse, co-sign this thing, it would drive you bananas. And then you'd probably lash out at her anyway. She'd be like, no, please, just go.
Yeah, she definitely knows me well enough to know that there's something in my mind already. Like she knows it's brewing back there, and I think she's probably dreading the day that I bring it up. But once it's brought up and I explain it and start talking about it, she starts to, I don't know if she buys into it all the time, but she's certainly
she at least understands.
Oh, yeah. I think she realizes that for me to stay sane for the next 3 years, I need to do something like that and then plan for 3 years for another one. So
25 days for 3 years, I'll take that exchange. That's pretty,
it's really cool.
Yeah, to have that happiness in the home. Oh, I'm all about it. Yeah, go ahead, honey. 20 days. I keep stuff like that in my back pocket. So, like, my wife wanted to go to Vegas. Never been to Vegas. Mm-hmm. No, please, babe. I'll stay home, watch the kids. Go ahead. She went to Vegas. She never even left the hotel. It was funny because she's from this area, and it was just too overwhelming for her. But I was like, go. Have at it. Learn. Get that experience.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping that in my pocket just in case, Like, remember that bike I told you about?
Yeah. Gosh, I'd hate to see what my wife's pocket's filled with right now.
Oh,
she's doing that to me.
She's got some stuff on you.
Oh, she's got like a whole year's vacation stored up somewhere. She's going to disappear for an entire year.
She just pulls it all out.
She's going to look at like the
remember that one time? Just dump it all out.
She's going to look at the kids' birthdays too. That's 15 and 14 and 12. Like, those are uneventful years. Hey, honey, I'm gone all year. You got this? Yeah. We're good.
I got this.
She'll take a sabbatical from work and just disappear for a year.
Those are a crazy time.
Doing crazy stuff too. I know she bikes a little bit, but
she rode today. She rode her longest ride ever today. 23 miles I made her go. And it was like her longest ever. But she No, she's athletic and she likes to do all that kind of adventure stuff. She's not into going 100 miles a day or for that long ever. I don't think it's something that she enjoys.
I'm not
She's
into 5 miles a day, let alone
Yeah.
23 miles. And she's just like, I just did it.
Yeah. No, she would do stuff. I think she would, but I don't know that it's not at the top of her list by any means. Not even top 5 on her list, I don't think so. Yeah.
So
Very cool. So you raised a bunch of money for a great cause with veterans. Back to school soon. Not really planning anything.
plotting the next venture.
Yeah, let it brew up. But
Yeah.
he also has a side gig, and this is what we're all about, is kind of creating that hustle.
Yeah.
He's got a side business too, on top of all of that.
Oh, it's you
He's
can't keep this guy down.
That's why I wanted him on here, because he's the same people.
Yeah.
Same people.
Yeah.
Because you can't, and I'm speaking for you here, but I just don't feel like you can keep still.
No, I cannot. At
Yeah,
all.
you got to stay busy.
Yeah.
And he's the side hustle. He makes longboards.
Yeah. I do enjoy sitting on the couch and watching a football game every now and again.
Yeah.
No, gosh, that's what I was, right before I came over, that's what I was doing. Our machine went down, so I'm trying to figure out how to fix it without spending any money to fix it, which is not going to happen at this point.
And it's with your dad?
No, it's actually, my dad's helped, but it's not really with him. Yeah, he was one of the financiers of the beginning, at the very beginning. He helped me. But my 2 neighbors, Jeff Smith and Sean Garvey, so we have like 3 houses all in a row. They're the 2 that are in it with me, and yeah, we make longboards, handmade, do it all the work ourselves.
That is crazy.
His whole shop's in the garage. It's really cool.
Yeah, we have it like split up between the 3 houses. Like there's more than 3 phases of the product, but we have like one phase is where you glue everything together and you smash and press them, give them all the curves that they have, and that happens in Sean's basement. And then we bring them over to my house. We let them marinate for a little while, because they got to sit. That glue gets really hard, and then we cut them, shape them, give them all the look that they have at my house. Put the graphic on them, and then we send them over to Jeff's house where we put all the clear coat and spray the finishes on them. Then they have to come back to my house. So what we need is like an underground tunnel that connects all the houses because
a little hyperloop action.
Yeah, because in the wintertime, we have to walk outside, and that's a pain. But no,
for sure. Because
how much time you got put into a board? One board.
So this is one of the reasons why we jumped in for me is to keep making things get better and better and better.
Yeah.
So we're down to the point where we can. I mean, it takes about 2 weeks start to finish because we let that glue cure for about 2 weeks before we get it back out and mess with it. But man hours per board, we're doing pretty well. We got it down to a point where we don't just make one at a time anymore. We really don't do anything unless we're doing about 10 to 20 at a time.
Nice.
So that because otherwise you're just wasting a lot of energy cleaning up and setting things up. But we can usually do about 10 boards. If the 3 of us are working, we can kind of pump all 10 of them out. Start to finish the 2 weeks, but probably maybe only have about 4 man hours into it.
So it's crazy.
And
so
originally,
you just need something else to do, right?
I started. The first one I ever made was, it would have been like 2010, maybe 9 years ago. And I made it in my old house in my basement, and I could make one per month. Mm-hmm. One board per month. Yeah. And man hours into that board was probably close to 20 hours into that one board of doing it. And so now we're to the point where if we really wanted to, we could pump out about probably 10 to 20 a day at this point. So we went from 1 a month to 10 to 20 a day at this point.
So you said 8 years.
Yeah.
So the growth that you had, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, so growth in production was really good. Growth in sales it's slow. It's a really slow process. The hard part is on the side of everything else.
Right.
All 3 of us have families, 2 kids, doing all kinds of other stuff. We all have our own jobs. And so this is a way to stay sane, I guess, as well. Jump out into the garage, get a little dirty. I don't mind the sawdust. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun for me. And then we get to go test them out, which is even more fun. So
Did you ever do you ever see yourself like walking away from your 9 to 5 and going into this?
I do, actually. And the problem with that is getting to that point. You know, my 9 to 5 is really good.
Yeah.
As a teacher and knowing what the future has in store for retirement and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just saying, all right, I'm going to give all that up.
And you got to stick that out.
Yeah. The skateboard industry is, you know, it has its waves. It's up and down. It really is. You figure through the 80s it was huge, and then in the 90s it was almost non-existent.
Right.
And in 2000s now it's climbing back up. We just said an Olympic sport here coming up, so it comes and goes.
Yeah,
and
it could go crazy, and then it'll just flat.
And if you're not one of those big 5 companies, then you're struggling to make ends meet in some of those years.
Now, how many other longboard companies are there that are making them like you?
Tons. There's
really?
More than you would think, actually. So there's like 5 huge companies, like enormous ones that pretty much could go around and just buy everybody else out, so there wouldn't be any small people. But there's quite a few. I'd say, I don't know, there used to be one right here in Zillionople, and he kind of ran his business into the ground. That's how we upped our production. We ended up going out and buying all of his equipment and everything. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, and so there's quite a few little guys around, and I mean we're really small when it comes to the longboard business, but we're
having fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's the part. Like today, as much as it pains me to rip apart a machine and try to figure out what's going on with it, I mean it's fun. Yeah, that's fun for me.
Yeah.
I'm swearing, and Laura's wondering why I'm swearing, but it's fun.
Now, a longboard's a little bit easier to ride than a regular skateboard.
It can be
relatively. I have no idea.
Yeah, basically they have bigger wheels. For one, bigger, softer wheels, so it's not that hard clackety clack sound you hear like when people were going down sidewalks. Or you could. A longboard wheel allows you to roll over things a little bit easier. The board itself is much longer, usually a lot wider, so it feels stable underneath your feet.
Yeah.
So it's probably a lot easier to learn if you've never been on one.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I was on a skateboard.
He let me try one, and I jumped on it. And it seemed...
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed okay.
Some of the little plastic ones, they were probably like 18 inches long.
Yeah.
And
super hard to stay on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your heels and your toes are over the edge.
Yes.
So your whole foot pretty much gets on this thing, and
that's a West Coast thing, right? The longboards.
Yeah, it's kind of spread. I mean, it was definitely a coastal thing for sure.
Yeah. It was kind of like the surfer type.
Yeah, days that there weren't waves, you'd get on a board and surf the concrete instead of the ocean. So,
be pretty neat though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
How did you get into skateboarding? Are you from?
I'm from Slippery Rock. I grew up in Slippery Rock.
So how do you get into it? Like, where does that stem?
When we were skateboarding big in Slippery Rock?
When we were in elementary school, it actually was. For Slippery Rock, for not a huge town.
Yeah,
I would say over the summer, if we went out and we were skateboarding, there was probably 10 or 12 kids all together, like a little, our little posse. We would roll around.
That's awesome.
So there's quite a few of us.
Because you don't see that anymore. No. You don't see the group of kids going around and.
Not as much, that's for sure.
And we did. We roamed town. Like, we kind of had free reign of town. We'd skate wherever we could and back then, in the late 80s, they would kick us out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be there for like 10 minutes, and then somebody would pull up, you guys can't do that here. Okay. We'll just go to the next spot.
You crazy kids. Yeah. Get out of here.
So.
Interesting.
I don't know who does that sound, but that was it.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Old people. Yeah. Were angry.
Yeah. With the walker, get away from me.
You're going to knock me over. Yeah, because I wondered that. Because I thought that you grew up around here, and I just didn't know that was a scene that was around.
Yeah, it wasn't huge. It wasn't like you were on the West Coast or even the East Coast, but for Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, it was pretty big.
Yeah.
Like for us.
Do you do bikes and stuff with longboards, or is it just like a coastal
thing? He's got a half pipe in his backyard.
Goodness.
Yeah, that's where B's been practicing.
I saw the videos.
Yeah, that was my wife would say my midlife crisis was, some people go buy the sports car.
Yeah.
We put a half pipe in the backyard.
It's awesome.
I just don't want to fall.
Yeah, neither do I.
Well, nobody does.
I know, but gosh, like I hate roller skating. Don't get me on ice skates. I'm horrible.
Yeah.
Like no rollerblading. No, regular skates I can do that, but rollerblading no. Can't do.
It's
skateboards.
another skill. Like just learning how to do anything. Learning how to fall is also one of those skills. Like Brielle took one the other day. Freddie and Brielle, 11 and 10, first time a week ago.
Yeah.
Dropped in on the half pipe. Freddie had tried in the past,
awesome.
and so I got them both up there, and they both did it. Maybe third or fourth try, they both were on their own, completely on their own, and then maybe eighth or ninth try, they both went down hard.
I love it.
And both of them jumped back up like that's and now they've fallen once. You can see them. They've learned that whenever they do that, try to run out of it. Mm-hmm. Or if you feel uncomfortable, just step off because you're gonna end up hitting hard. And
yeah.
I still fall, and it hurts. At 41, it hurts like.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't even imagine.
But you jump up, especially when there's 11-year-old kids standing there. You like suck it in real quick and stand up and walk it out.
I'm gonna go cry in the room. I'm going to the bathroom, kids.
No, it's just I'm sweating really bad, guys.
It's just sweat. It's just sweat. I swear.
Gosh, no, you can't bounce back. Like even after like a fight or whatever, or it's just anything. Doing cardio kickboxing now. I started up there. Like there's like muscles that I weren't using before, and I'm like. It kind of hurts. Like you don't bounce back.
Yeah. But it feels good, doesn't it? Like that's.
I don't know, man.
Yes,
I think
it does.
Yeah,
I'm sure you do too.
I do.
Like
but
whenever you
falling
wake up,
is different than getting punched in the face for me. I don't know. Like
no,
I'm okay
falling.
to get scratched up, bruised up, punched in the face,
Yes.
thrown to the ground. Different, but falling to the ground, it's just a little.
Falling is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's so much more impact when you fall.
Like
when you fall,
I feel like I'm gonna break something for real.
well, you are old.
Ooh.
So like,
Goodness.
you'll probably break stuff. Osteoporosis.
Get out of here, you kids.
Got osteoporosis. So to go back to something that you did say though, part of learning new skills is failing.
Yeah.
And that was something that you wrote in one of your blogs too, that you discussed with your students even.
Yeah.
I guess explain what you wrote about and kind of what you're teaching the kids in your class about the stuff that you're doing and what it takes to make it happen.
So the writing was about one of my students who's a cross country runner. She's really good. And she was going to States, and she and I just sat and talked one day because I always ask her. I'm always curious about cross-country running, and I don't want to do it, like not at all. I want nothing to do with running, but I'm curious always about that point, like when do you know that you've hit your wall? Like, okay, so you just ran it in 19 minutes. Who says you can't do it in 18? Like, are you the one saying that you can't do it in 18, or is your body the one saying that you can't do it in 18? And so she and I talked about that, finding that limit where it was at. And so I was curious, and I asked her, I said, have you met it? Do you know? And she goes, I don't know. So, and I get into these things and thinking about running sprints and stuff. Like, have you ever thrown up from running? She goes, no, I've never thrown up from running. And I'm thinking in my head, maybe you haven't found your limit yet. Yeah. But that's like one of those things, doing any kind of adventure, or learning a new trick or something, anything, is, can I do it? Or the reasons I can't do it, is it because I'm afraid of it, or is it I'm afraid of falling or failing, or what somebody might look at it, or is it something I physically just can't do anymore? Like you guys said, do 10 pull-ups here. Hell no, I can't do 10 pull-ups. I'm not better. Like I know I can't do it. I'm going to give it my all, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to get 10 of them.
Yeah, but you'll know that. Oh, I could do 4.
Yeah.
So that's your limit.
That's
if
where you start to do 10.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to come in next time and do 10, well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to start doing pull-ups.
Yeah.
Until I throw up, probably, or until my fingers are bleeding. Like I know.
Nice little grooves.
That's an intense dude.
These thresholds, they're there, and you just have to be willing to step over that line of saying, if I fall, and all these people are watching me, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I know I'm trying to teach my son that as well. Like, he doesn't want to fall in front of other people, and it's a tough sell. It really is. And
Sure.
and the idea of failing, like, it's got to be there, but it's the idea of then everyone says that you got to learn from that. If you fail just and quit, then yeah, that is an absolute failure. But
Right.
so I don't really call them failures in class, and that's like in education. That's one of those big things now. Oh yeah, we want our kids to fail. I don't want my kids to fail.
Yeah.
Like, that's the exact opposite. I want them to struggle, but I don't want them to fail.
That's an interesting way to say that.
Yeah.
Great. Denzel Washington did a speech somewhat like that. He's talking about failing forward.
Yeah.
As opposed to, because it's going to happen. Like, you're going to fail. You're going to hit that mark where, like, okay, I can only do 4. Now what? So you fail forward, like, that's it. I'm at 4, so I'm going to do reps of 4 so I can get my 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's the failing forward thing as opposed to failing and just cuddling in the corner like, that's it, I'm done, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the preface that you're talking about. Like, what's your pinnacle? Like, what's your spot? What's your breakthrough? And what are you going to do when you get there? That's like I was asking you, like, you went to, let's say, mile 10, and you're just like, I can't go no more. Like, I physically can't go no more? Or what is it?
Yeah.
You know?
And that's, I think like those, you're saying like mile 10, for me on some of those trips or some of those things, it was like mile 110. Now what do I do? Like, I'm tired, I'm beat, I'm sore, like everything hurts.
Can I go to 112?
Yeah,
because you're pushing.
And if I need to.
Pushing past.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of those times, you know, you think to yourself too, like, depending on what I'm doing tomorrow, is it worth me going to 112 today? So, and that's a different story, I guess. It's not really finding my limit, it's preparing for the next day. But if I had to go past it, I think that in my mind nowadays I would just keep on going until I throw up on the side of the road. My wife has to come pick me up after 6 miles of running.
So I mean, man, this is awesome. I'm really glad that you came in today. So you've been a teacher for how long?
This will be your
14th year?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So you've seen a progression in the student. What do you think it's better now, let's say 5 years ago, as opposed to the student 5 years now? You know, if you had to look back on where we at here and where we're at then.
I think they're different in general. Like, they're changing, absolutely, with this, you know, the stuff that's in their hands and the stuff that they see in the world around them. There's lots of change. I think the students that we have right now, like, you know, this year when I walk in, this group of kids, they get a bad rep. They really do. There's lots of stuff that says they're lazy and they're this and they're that. I just don't know that they've ever been taught to go beyond. They don't know that that limit. They don't know how to struggle and how to push on. It's not that they're lazy. It's just, and we can't blame them for a lot of stuff. I just don't know that they've been taught it.
Right.
And they need to be. Quickly, because sooner or later, after I see them, they're going out. Like, you know, 2 years later, they're on their own or they're at college and they need to know some of that stuff. But this group is very, I think they're very aware of their surroundings, more so than 5 years ago. Differences maybe 5 or even 10 years ago, maybe not aware of their surroundings.
Yeah, whatever that time limit is.
But willing to just go stick their neck out there, you know, before, unaware of what's going on. Now they're aware of what's going on and
they're making that choice to stick their neck out or not.
Yeah, and they're, you know, the social media thing has changed quite a bit of stuff too. I mean, nowadays, everybody knows what everybody else is doing. And before, no one knew what each other was doing unless it was your friend. It was your friend, and it was something going on there. And I think that's part of that failing thing. Like, now that everybody knows what everybody else is doing, nobody wants to publicly fail.
Yeah, your fail is on blast right now. Like, as soon as the failure is there, like, everybody's going to know about it. So how are you going to get past that?
Yeah.
You know, that failure has come and gone. How do you take that and say, okay, whatever, everybody knows, you know, just keep on,
and change that word. Like you just said, like, some people will say, oh, you failed. No, I didn't fail. I'm just struggling with that.
Yeah.
Like, it's
perfect.
It's not,
I like it.
I didn't fail at it. I fell for sure, but I'm just struggling learning how to do that. Or, you know, I haven't quite really mastered that.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a way to, and I try to do it with the kids. Like, for me, I teach physics. And so pretty mathy.
Gosh,
these kids, they come in now and they're like, I can't do math. And as soon as they say the next word out of my mouth is yet, you can't do math yet. If you keep saying you can't do math, well, then that's the end of the story.
You're going to speak that into existence.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm a failure, and I'm just going to fail. Like, I'm not going to college because no one in my family went to college. Like, I already have that preconceived notion in my mind that I'm not going to go anywhere further than right here, right now.
And there again, it brings it back that loop. Like, they think they have found their limit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just in their mind. Like, they've convinced themselves, but they have never tried to go on any farther. They've never tried to overcome that struggle. That's the end of their story. And they're okay with that. And that's the part that really bothers me. When they're okay with it, like, I don't think so.
And so go back to the point where you said before people were, all right, I know what it is and I'm just going to fail. I mean, do you see it more that they're changing, like, you know what? It's out there. It's on Front Street. I'm just going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's where it's at now?
The kids?
Yes.
Just wanting to... No. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, this group is... Again, they don't want to be seen in that public eye as the one that can't do it. And if they are the one that can't do it, they want it to be a funny story where everybody's watching. You know, it gets a billion hits and all this kind of stuff. And so if they're going to fail, they want to make a spectacle of it. So then it doesn't actually look like they fail.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to hide their failure. So they'll get up and they'll do something. And if it succeeds, well, then they're super pumped. But if it is a failure, they were planning on failing. Like, that was, you know, it seems
that
like
was
that's
the intention.
That's how they kind of roll right now.
Fail.
But I don't see them. I don't see a lot of these teenagers that I see sticking their neck out there and just going for it. And I wish more of them would, like, just to stand up in a crowd and speak their mind, or, you know, even in class, answer a question that they're unsure.
Yeah.
And they won't put their hand up if they don't absolutely know what the answer is. And even if they do, they won't put their hand up because they don't want to be seen as that person that answers all the questions.
Yeah.
So it's tough with their lives being on display all day long for everybody to see. It's almost like they want to hide, but they can't. And they do it to themselves because they put their own lives out there for everybody to see. But then when it comes to your physical being, they're trying to hide it. But on the internet out there in the digital world, they're okay displaying it. So it's a tricky group of kids.
That is a tricky group.
Yeah.
You know, you almost want to teach them how to use the social media in a way that is like it's okay to do some things that are outside of your comfort zone, and put that out there too, because that's okay too, because that's part of growing up. You know? But nobody, it would be difficult. It would be difficult just as a kid trying to find your place, trying to be accepted, but part of that is trying all that new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to find your group.
Yeah, I think you would see these kids become better leaders too. I don't know. There's a lot of great leaders.
That's where
out there.
I'm at there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm gearing towards that as well, and because me and you in the same generation era, like before it was I hate public speaking. Like nobody wanted to be out on Front Street. Right now, they're all on Front Street. They're all out there for the world to see. And granted, it might be masked about, you know, who they are and what they're representing, but they're still putting it out there.
Yeah.
Where I think with us, I know it wasn't me. I hated public speaking, so and I think now it's gonna be different. We're gonna have that crew like, nah, that's just what I've been doing. I've been in front of a camera my entire life, you know.
But do they like to do it in person?
So you think it's the camera as opposed to...
Yeah, because you can get in front of the camera and post it, but if, like, to talk like this, like the art of conversation, I don't think that that's strong.
I don't think so either. I think that's really, really hard for them. And I think part of it is...
So public speaking is still up.
Yeah, still there.
Like, we're talking right now about things that we believe in and substance, you know, and stories that we have and all this.
Yeah.
They don't have that stuff.
Wow.
You know, they're out there, and granted, they're still teenagers, so there's still time to gain all that experience and knowledge and stuff. But as they talk now, they end up talking about what's on social media, and that's it. And it's not like they're living somebody else's lives. They're not living their own. They're not going out there and becoming that leader or sticking their neck out. And if they do get up and do the public speaking, it's never from. It doesn't seem like it's ever from the heart. I can't say never because I've only have a small population of
Right.
them. Where you would love to hear something, deep from them, and they don't. It's not that they don't have it.
Yeah.
They're not willing to stick it out there, and if they are, it's behind a camera.
Right.
Yeah, and
I think it's
a different way of life. That's for sure.
I think this is a smarter group of kids, like back into the physics or
very well
electrical.
informed.
Yeah,
for sure.
Goodness, the amount of information that they can have at their fingertips. I mean, depending on what they retain, it could have a lot. So why do you think that they're going to be good leaders then?
I don't know that they're gonna be.
We're just rolling dice here.
Yeah,
I mean, whatever. We're just throwing it out there and see what happens.
I think they could be good leaders because I think they have the ability to get out in front of crowds, and do something that is worth something else or can appeal to other crowds.
I think they like stories. So I think if they create them, then people are going to want to be moved by them.
Yeah.
I hate to say like the cool people, or maybe the people. Remember we talked about what's on YouTube. There's people playing with dolls, and everybody's into it. There is a group for everything.
There's a group for everybody.
Everything.
Yeah, and I feel like, we're talking about these kids, like they're going to find it at some point.
Yeah.
It's just like having your life on display all the time. Is it delaying that evolution of your life? Like, is it delaying you putting yourself out there and finding a group, and because you're more reserved?
I think it speeds it up.
You think it speeds it up?
I think it speeds it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it speeds it up just because they already know, like, okay, so this group does this. This group does this, because they have that information overload. So they know everything about that group, and if that's something that pertains to them, or that they have their likes and dislikes about, that's where they're going to go.
It is amazing the information that they have now. I mean, I grew up with the internet for the most part as well. I don't know. Now that they have the internet with a high-speed internet, and you can just have anything you want anytime, we're not. I don't know that we're made to have all of that information.
I think patience is a big deal.
To retain it all, but I'm very interested to see what happens with it, and the generations that just all they know is the internet and all they know is information. I'm really excited to see what that does for growth in all types of different avenues. If it's robotics, if it's AI, if it's social services, whatever the case may be.
I wonder what the job market's going to be like. Where is going to be that? Because, it all goes in waves. What's it going to look like?
But there's so many new jobs as a result of all of this information. Just in the tech world in general. There might not be the...
He's done some robotic stuff, right?
We do a little bit in class. We have a class at Slippery Rock, but it is, like you said, they see robotics as one job, and it's not just one job.
Right.
Whenever there's a robot that's being built, I saw you posted something about was it Carnegie Mellon? They just got
Carnegie Mellon, and now the name escapes me. The company that's contracted with Carnegie Mellon, who's doing the lunar orbits.
So they look at like that lunar module, and some of these kids that know or are informed or care a little bit, they're like, oh, it's just a bunch of engineers, But it's not just engineers.
No.
They have business people working on this. They have human resource people working on this.
Yeah.
Engineers are not writing the article. They're not writing the descriptions. And they don't see all that stuff. And even beyond that, then you have the finance side of it. So there's people keeping books and tabs on what's being spent.
There's a $75 million contract with NASA.
And so they have the information. I think a problem that they have right now is being able to sift through it, because there is so much.
Yeah.
And also being able to use it correctly. Like there's a lot of that going out there as well. And again, it has to be taught It's one of those
So
things that needs to be
that's
taught
really
to,
where I
and
was
it's not.
driving this,
Yeah.
is with that class that I say of how to use social media.
Yeah.
It's like, should that be a class in the classroom?
Uh-huh,
You know, how to use social media, how to use the internet.
The benefits, the disadvantages.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's hard to sift through all of that because there is so much. It's so good and so bad at the same exact time.
Yeah. You get it so quickly, too, that, like you said, the patience of reading one and then reading another site and then another site and going through 3 or 4 before you actually develop your opinion or decide which information is good and which is bad. So a lot of them, it happens so quick. And Google, especially, you type it into Google and the very first thing gives like the summary.
Yeah.
They read the summary and don't even click on the website. They read the summary the first, and that's all they need to know.
Yep.
And so now you're
opinion
formed.
Yeah, already, and you're just thinking to yourself, wow, like there was way more to the story than just that. And that's the part where they don't go any deeper. They don't have anything more to add to it. They saw that surface, that first sentence. That's what they're sticking with, and don't ask many questions beyond it. So, like that robotics, or the lunar module, they saw, Carnegie Mellon. I'm out. Because I'm not going to Carnegie Mellon, and I'm not an engineer.
Like, that's not a sexy school.
Yeah. And so they won't read into the
That's
article.
a sexy school, though. If you're in robotics.
Oh, no. I'm just saying what they've already formulated their plan. Like, I want to go to Penn State. I want to go to Pitt. I want to go to the University of Florida, Arizona State,
Yeah.
Or those pretty schools.
I'm going to be a mechanic. Well, they're still going to need people to weld and build these robots, and they're probably not going to be the engineers. They're going to be other people that are skilled, but then when they see that, that's where they stop. And they've already, like you said, that first sentence, they formulated that idea, and we need to teach them to go a little bit deeper.
Yeah, because I actually clicked on the site, and I went through all the jobs, and like you said, there's 17 jobs posted, and I bet you if I go on there today, there's going to be more posted. Because they said they're going from 20 employees to 70 something.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're not all engineers. All the engineering is...
They got that already.
That's how they got the contract.
Yeah.
So all of that is really taken care of. It's the business end and the actual logistics of building it and marketing it. They need salespeople to sell it. There are the technology. And AI, yes, it's taking jobs away from some sectors, but it's creating a lot of other jobs. And I think we get pigeonholed into these schools of thought of, okay, automotive and energy and this and that. And there's so many more verticals of the United States economy and the world economy in general that I think we sell ourselves short in seeing outside of our tunnel vision and go, wow. There's a ton out there.
Scan looking for work.
Yeah, and it's just like, just at the gun courses. But it's I don't know. Like I said, I'm excited to see what happens with it, with all of that information and the kids that are they're growing up with it. Yeah. And that's all they know.
People are seeing it as a disservice. I'm not.
I'm not
seeing it as because it was like when we were growing up. Stop watching so much TV. You're gonna go blind.
Yeah.
Come on, it's the same thing.
And before that it was comic books, and before that it was the radio.
Yeah.
We talked.
Yeah.
It's like there's always gonna be something that takes
a wheel
the
and a
attention.
stick.
Yeah, there's always
Stop playing with that stick.
Takes the attention away from what we as adults think they should be doing. Mm-hmm. But they're learning.
Yeah.
They're learning every single day. So much more than I learned every single day.
Yeah. I think it's the difference has changed where we get our information from, which is good because now they have way more at their fingertips. The thing that needs to stay consistent, I feel, is how we teach our children to use the information. Mm-hmm. Like, get it however you want. I don't care if you're searching all day and you're doing this and you're getting valuable information, like you said about the people playing with dolls on the I don't think you need to watch that. Like, really? Yeah. Is there not something
3 hours
better out
spent
there?
on the doll watching.
Yeah, or you're watching somebody else play video games. Like, instead of playing the video, I'd rather you play the video game yourself and watch somebody else play the video game.
Watching football.
No,
It's just like watching football.
So they
close, but I did get to play it. I played it a lot.
they try to
So I'm allowed to
duplicate
watch
that.
them.
They try to duplicate what they see on the TV though.
Yeah, they do.
So, but the bad thing is, you see what they did wrong. You didn't do it wrong.
Yeah.
You watched somebody else do it wrong.
Yeah, learning from their mistakes.
So that's
Yeah.
another slippery slope. Like, what do you like? Okay, now I know I'm not gonna go left instead of right. I'm not gonna use a dagger instead of an AK-47. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So like it goes back to that. Okay, so what's your spot? You didn't feel.
You didn't do that.
No, you watched.
That's a really
Ron do
good
it.
point.
You watched.
That's a
Ron do it.
really good point. It's like you're watching, we'll call it the struggle of somebody else, because when you live through that struggle, you remember it, you internalize it.
You're not failing
know it.
forward. That's not failing forward.
The two kids, they know that they're going to run off the board because they fell and cracked their ass.
Yeah. Like, there's
But if
some
you watch
lessons.
somebody, does it stick?
There's some lessons that I would
What
like
are
to
we
learn
doing
from
here?
other people, though, right? Like, there's some things I would like to sit back and watch, and be like, holy crap, I will never do that.
Yeah.
Like
Life lessons. I guess we have to pick them because I don't want my kids to do the same mistakes. So that's why I say learn from my mistakes.
yeah, but like simple ones like a video game where nothing's harmed.
Right.
Like, there's no harm done. If you die in the video game, you just hit reset, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if I'm watching somebody, fly through an intersection, I'm going to learn from that mistake. I'm like, I'm not going to fly through an intersection.
Yeah.
I just watched that happen. Like, I don't need to experience that one, but some of the stuff that they're seeing and they're not getting that struggle is where they really need to do it. Like, even copying homework. Like, you're going to copy someone's homework or somebody that already asked the question and knows the right answer. Yeah, let's copy theirs because then we don't have to worry about that struggle.
Yeah.
That's where we don't want them to do that.
Welcome to my high school career.
Seriously.
I'm just kidding. So,
man.
Yeah. Had a bunch of people doing my homework.
but we put an hour and 15 in.
That was classy.
What do you think? Are we good to wrap?
Yeah. And hey, it was like
Like you
It was
guys,
cool.
That was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
yeah.
I can't wait to hear what you're going to do next, and I mean we'll be in touch. Our kids do the same taekwondo at school, and we're neighbors. so.
Yeah.
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 Do you want to plug anything?
Plug your
Your
stuff.
local boards, anything?
Yeah.
Come on, you have to.
I mean, you plugged them already, but
I mean,
Yeah,
we got about 6 people watching right now, so that's
Well, you got 5 on here.
okay. I got it. Yeah.
one of our fans is
There
right here.
No, the business is called Local 5 Longboards. We have a website, local5longboards.com, and we don't have a store. It's not part of the plan right now. Sooner or later, maybe, but just not there yet. And check it out. It gets updated quite often. I don't have time to update it all the time, so I'm trying to pawn that job off on one of the other guys. They don't really like those type of jobs.
Yeah.
Neither do I. So we'll see if we can't get some stuff updated. But Village Fest, Slippery Rock.
Yeah.
If you come to Village Fest,
When's
Do you
that?
guys have a tent?
Yeah, we have a tent. That's been awesome.
When is
for us. September. You got me on that one. So I think it's like late September, mid to late September. Sometime.
We'll update in the show notes when it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late September.
Yeah. So that's where our physical shop is. Once a year, it magically pops up.
Yeah.
On Main
That's
Street,
how I
Slippery
found out
Rock.
about it.
Yeah.
You guys are looking for longboards. This is it.
Yeah.
Where can they find you at?
Who, me?
You, sir.
Yeah, GC Rican _ Valor PDS. You got valorpds.com. Valor Combat Academy of Meadville. And the headquarters in Grove City. So you're looking for some self-defense, some firearms courses? Come on down. We're changing lives down there, man. Changing
Always
lives.
Changed my life.
My man.
You can find me at Ambitious Distractions on Instagram.
So the journey has begun. If you guys listening to our content today had any kind of value or you were moved in any way, please feel free to subscribe, pass it on, let everybody know that these two guys are the truth. They're out here just trying to do good things to make good people. Thanks.